Hey guys, I thought I'd show you some of the quilt as you go t-shirt quilt, I don't know, steps I'm using for this t-shirt quilt. For the most part, I've already cut the t-shirts in half and I've already stabilized those. Some of them I used basic interfacing, or basic like fusible interfacing that I use for most of my memory bears, but I had to use some special t-shirt interfacing for some of them too. You don't always have to square it off perfectly, but it kind of drives me crazy when I'm quilting these if I have too much batting sticking out. So I'm gonna have to change my blade soon. And then this will be the backing of this square. I just try to put a couple safety or straight pins in these blocks and fold it out of my way. Not all of these t-shirt fronts are 12 by 12. They're actually all different sizes because this is going to be more of a collage sewn. Well, you'll see when it's done. That might not be the exact word I'm looking for, but I'll definitely show the finished product. I'm just trying to square off some of these t-shirt fronts before I cut the batting. And I'm just throwing things on the floor next to me. Some of these scraps will be used in the free or crazy quilts that I make. Always try to keep my business as green as possible. Usually if all the fronts were 12 by 12, I would cut a lot of 12 by 12 squares out of this cotton batting, but because this particular quilt, the t-shirts are all different sizes, I don't want to waste any of my batting. Batting is not cheap, at least not for me, and you know, I want to be able to use the exact amounts. So I do have a free newsletter at stephaniegrams.com, and I talk about starting a keepsake sewing business. We do a lot of online classes teaching you how to get started. I even teach you how to sew some items that you can start to sell. You just need a basic sewing machine. It would need to be like an actual adult sewing machine. You don't want to use one of those little small ones that are geared towards children. Those are not powerful enough for the stitches. And that's truly just my opinion, but I always like to set everybody up to succeed, and so that's one tip. And I just paid, like, the basic one is, I think it was like $50 or $55 at a big box store, which I'm not allowed to say the name. And I'm not sponsored by them, so I'm definitely not giving them a shout out. But you can go anywhere and just get a basic sewing machine. If it sews a straight stitch, you're good. If you have an old one, maybe your mom or grandma or great-grandma left you one, if it works, I say use it. You don't need fancy, you just need to make sure that you have good thread, you know, high quality thread, and a straight stitch and needles. Nothing too fancy. Alright, so now I'm going to move this over and pull up my cotton batting. Right here. Got another 12 by 12. I'm on my lunch break, so I thought as long as I have coffee and water, that's really the only nutrition I need for the day, or at least for this part of the day. I have a protein bar if I'm actually really hungry or anything like that. And then this is going to be the back of that square. So the back of this quilt is just random fabrics. The person that this quilt is for liked all the fabric that we picked, so that's why we're incorporating all the fabric to the back. And I might go ahead and put like some t-shirts facing the front of the quilt and some facing the back. That way it doesn't matter which side of the quilt is facing up. I don't know if I'm going to do that yet, but it was an idea, so we'll think about that. This one is a little different. I noticed not a lot, but several of the t-shirts, the print, the image is crooked. It came crooked from the store, and so just try to even it out as much as I possibly could. This month's newsletter freebie, let me see if I can find what I did with it. So every month I give a freebie to those that like to sew, keepsakes, memory bears, that type of thing. And so the month of November I made a angel doll pattern, and that's free all month long for November. And you can just adjust the wings however you like in the pattern, and you can make them face up more like this, or more like straight out like it's embracing you. But I sent that out November 2nd, and as long as you sign up in November here of November 2021, depending on if you're watching this in the future, then you can still get that pattern for free, just in time for Christmas. And it's really a nice add-on if you have a memory bear and keepsake sewing business. And that's usually who I teach. Some of them are hobbyists that just want to be able to sew for themselves and their families, which is awesome. And then the majority, though, already have a business, and then want help with the growing part of it, expanding, that kind of thing. All right. I try to make these even, but if it sticks out a little bit, I really don't, it doesn't really matter that much to me. Because as you free motion quilt on each block, sometimes it gets stretched out as you sew, and there's not a lot I can do about that. Let's see here. This one still has a logo on it, Grand Strand. That's the hospital my husband worked at when we lived in Myrtle Beach. So that'll be the back of this block. And then this is from Beaufort, South Carolina. I don't know if you can see that. Beaufort, South Carolina, but not Beaufort. Beaufort's in North Carolina, and they will let you know. We lived in Beaufort, South Carolina also. Let's see here. Okay, this one's a little different. This is the largest shirt quilt part, I should say, I don't even know, square. So the rest of the other ones are going to have to like be sewn off and around to frame this, because this one is pretty large. It's let's see if I can measure it. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 inches by 18, 12, about 16. So it's 18 by 16. So that's literally the largest one for this particular blanket. I'm going to cut this little piece off because I do have small, little tiny projects I will be using this batting for. So at least it won't be wasted. Okay. Let's get the end of this. So I have this on a bolt. I bought a bolt of this cotton batting months and months ago when it was on a real, I mean, it was a super sale that I was able to find. I'm so thankful. Always pray for good sales and things that I need. And the Lord led me to this particular sale on bulk. I couldn't believe it. All I did is laid this large quilt or large shirt on top of the batting. I'm just following the line. I don't know if this is on camera or not. I'm just following the outline of the shirt in order to cut it like this. So I am married. I have 4 adult living daughters. I have 2 children in heaven. And I work for a company during the day, and I work in my sewing studio during lunch breaks and weekends and holidays. Did I say late evenings? So I'm down here late evenings as well. Just try to get all the things done and fit into a work week. I would love for this to become full-time. That's always been a goal I've been working towards, and a prayer. I've always prayed for that. Alright, I think that's it for this person's quilt. I have all of them done. Here, I can show you the stack real quick. So I just make my stack like this. I've already cut the batting down. And then once I start doing all of the free range, like quilt as you go, motion quilting. I just have a standard sewing machine, so I don't even think the dog feeds lower on this machine. So I'll have to get real creative. I mean, I can always use my walking foot, and like sew in different straight lines or crisscross or whatever. But my ultimate goal is to get a long arm quilting machine. So we will work towards that. So this is the stack of quilt squares. I've gotten so much done, accomplished. I feel less stress now that I just focus on one quilt at a time. So now that I think what I'm going to do is, since this person's quilt is already, as you can see, I call these sandwich blocks, but whatever. I don't know what you really call it. So since they're already cut, measured, and all of that, waiting to be free motion quilt as you go, you know, accomplishments here, I might go ahead and start on the other 2, and that way I have like this assembly line going. I keep all the orders in separate plastic bins. That way I never get anybody's shirts mixed up with anybody else's. And that's the same thing that I teach in my classes. You know, because you don't want to mess up somebody's order. You know what I mean? So Everything is always organized with the order sheet, the invoice sheet, and any notes that I've taken, that kind of thing. All right. This is not pinned down, so I will pin this one because I don't want it to be separated. Is this one pinned? Nope. Now that I'm moving them around so much, I'm going to pin at least once to each square. Okay. Sorry I can't film much better than this at the moment. I have to use what I have, and I know, you know, do what I can here. Let's see here. I don't think I need that many pins in this one. And here we go. Almost to the end of these. Then what I'll do is I'll lay these out and I will get an idea of where the placement should be and get the opinion of the person that wants this made. And then I will start sewing it. So here is this stack of t-shirt squares. Thank you for joining me on my lunch break. Again, it's Stephanie Grams at stephaniegrams.com. And I hope that you join the free newsletter and learn, come along with us. Okay, guys, have a great one.